We still do not know which party will control either the House or the Senate come January 3rd, but we have gotten some new clarity on where things stand, so let's dive right in. At this hour, we are down to 26 uncalled House races, and despite what most thought heading into election week, there is still a plausible path for Democrats to hold on to the House. We're going to dig into that in a moment. In the uncalled Senate races, our decision desk can now characterize Nevada officially as too close to call. The Republican candidate leads right now by just a percentage point. This is a live look inside one of the tabulation rooms in the state's second largest county, Washoe, where the vote has been neck and neck. Moving over to Arizona's uncalled Senate race, really all of the statewide races are uncalled there still. Incumbent Democratic Senator Mark Kelly still leads Blake Masters by over 100,000 votes. His lead is notably larger than the Democrats' gubernatorial nominee, Katie Hobbs, who is only leading Kari Lake by a much smaller margin there. Vote tabulations are continuing at this hour. Here's a look inside Pima County, where Tucson is located, and we hope to see some more tranches of vote out of Arizona later today. And it is one of those cases where, at least in the Senate race or the Secretary of State race, let's see what kind of ballots come in. But if we see some of the Election Day ballot returns and some of these margins don't really change, those are the two races most likely that are on the precipice of being called. If either party, of course, wins both Arizona and Nevada, it locks up Senate control without the need of a Georgia runoff. And at this moment, Democrats think they have a shot at pulling off that math. With a conceivable path for Democrats to maintain control of both the House and the Senate, we're going to see more Republican hand-wringing, and we already are seeing it over former President Trump's drag on the party in these elections. Michigan Republicans delivered a scathing election postmortem on Trump-backed candidates, according to the Detroit Free Press, pinning some of the party's statewide losses on the former president's brand. And Virginia Republican Lieutenant Governor, one-time outspoken Trump supporter and Trump surrogate during the 2020 campaign, Winsome Sears, she was just as blunt with her assessment of the returns.
The voters have spoken, and they have said that they want a different leader. And a true leader understands when they have become a liability. A true leader understands that it's time to step off the stage, and the voters have given us that very clear message. We have a clear mission, and it is time to move on.
But Trump is plowing ahead with an expected presidential announcement on Tuesday, believe it or not. And not surprisingly, he's lashing out at potential GOP presidential rivals, including Governors Ron DeSantis and Glenn Youngkin. And it's not just Trump who's under the microscope in the aftermath of Election Day. Several prominent Senate Republicans, not just folks that are always sort of thorns in McConnell's side, but some other names, are calling for a delay in leadership elections, with Mitch McConnell running for another term as majority leader, or Republican leader, excuse me. And Trump allies say that they need to hear more from Kevin McCarthy and other House Republican leaders about Trump 2024 if they want their support. Needless to say, things are messy inside the Republican Party right now because House and Senate control is still undecided. So let's head over to a big board. We're going to take a look at where things stand. We're going to start with actually the Democratic Party's more plausible but improbable path to the House majority. Okay, here we are. You have 26 uncalled races. Let me show you where they are right now, and I'm going to give you a little tour. Right now, Democrats obviously need to win 20 of the 26. Right now, Republicans lead in 10 of those 26, so a little simple math there. Obviously, 16 where the Democrats hold the lead right now. So the question is, let's assume everything stays as is. Where can they find their 4? Let's look at the different places where Republicans currently lead in the House. If I don't talk about your race, it means the Democrats currently have the lead in that race, or that we expected. So let's look at Arizona 6. This is one. It's very tight, 5,500, just 82% in. And late ballots, what are they going to do? This is something that I think this one is on the edge. Democrats have to find 4 of the following 10 races I'm going to give you a tour of. So here's Arizona 6. I think it's sort of certainly on the map, on the radar as something that they could pull off. California 3, I'm a little less convinced of here. Only barely, not even half the vote is in yet. But this is one you have to assume Republicans hang on there. So I would probably not include this. Here's another one, California 13. This one's a bit closer, 267 votes, but we only have 44% in. Again, a little early to tell if that's one that actually has a shot. California 22 here. This is David Valadao. I'm skeptical that Valadao is going to get knocked off. I don't think they had a Democratic turnout that could pull that off. So I don't include that as a potential of one of the 6. Mike Garcia, remember, he won a special election to replace a Democrat that had to resign. Let's see what happens there. I'm also skeptical that that's one that Democrats could flip with a late count. Now, this one, we'll see. Ken Calvert, he's been in this position before. This is one that I think is on the radar, where if you told me Democrats won this by 10 votes, it wouldn't shock me. I think it's one we'll have to wait for all the ballots to be counted. Let me take you to California 45, where Michelle Steele was. This is another one where I think she's not going to get caught. And this is one, if Democrats come up short and it's these California races, there's going to be a little people whispering about Gavin Newsom and asking if he could have done more. Colorado 3 is the big surprise here. Are we going to have to wait for military ballots to tell us who won that one? We might, but I think that's on the radar as their path to do that. And then there's Oregon 5, which everything else in Oregon has come up short for the Republicans. This is their best shot at a pickup here, but there's still a lot of vote out. Like I said, Democrats seem to have a little late momentum. Let's see what happens there. So that's on their path. So look, and then there's New York 22. You have to assume if every other New York race tipped Republican, that this one will likely stay that way as well. But this one was not near the New York City suburbs. So if you told me Democrats did slightly better here, okay, this is where Hochul was certainly trying to drive up her own turnout. So it could be on the map. So look, the path is plausible. It's not a crazy way for the Democrats to get there, but it's a combination of picking up that one Arizona seat, definitely, I think, Oregon and New York. So there's 3. And then they need one more. One of those California races and Ann Lowen-Boebert. So again, they could see the path. I don't know if they're going to get there, but it is not out of the question.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.